Finishing the games, playing hard, paying attention to the game plan, and when we do adjust throughout the game, we're focused and not making too many mistakes, and then just capitalizing off their mistakes. So just got to continue to do it and continue to take it one game at a time.
Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Brussels back at it again for another Bleav in Hawks episode. We got a jam-packed episode for you guys. Hawks continuing to grow their winning streak to 3 games with their most impressive win, maybe of the season, over the Phoenix Suns. Then also, we're going to talk about the Trae Young All-Star Snub, and then just the latest in Hawks trade rumors that are going on for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, watching on YouTube, leave a review on audio podcast, and don't forget to follow your boy on Twitter at the bottom of your screen. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Hawks beat the Phoenix Suns 129-120 in a game where they've shown consistency. Hawks are known usually in these games, or just in most games this season, to play well against anybody, and then have that one quarter where they drop off, and then they can't get over the hump. This was a game where they were able to get. It was a very back and forth game, I would say, throughout the game, but the Hawks were finally able to kind of get a grasp of it in the third quarter, usually a death quarter for them, and then was able to hang on down the stretch, making some big shots. DeJounte came alive in the fourth quarter. Trae Young had a masterful game after the All-Star Snub, coming out tonight, playing one of his most controlled games I think I've seen him play, where he was effective passing, scoring, and defense, making some big plays on the defensive end, especially against guys like Kevin Durant, and that helps secure this victory for the team. And you're seeing this team start to play better. Now, this game wasn't all perfect. Saddiq Bey is injured right now with an ankle sprain. We don't know how long he'll be out. We'll see what type of grade it is and how long he may potentially be out. But they actually were able to get some decent production from Wesley Matthews. First time he's played in, I feel like, a month now. They got some production from him. Patty Mills gave him some decent minutes, especially that first stint in the first half. And just overall, it was a complete team effort tonight for the Hawks to come out and get this win. Onyeka Okongwu showing why, especially against teams like the Suns, who basically, just when it gets late into the games, they take Nurkic out and they pretty much go small ball. Onyeka Okongwu showing his value for this team in playing big and being key to why they were able to also win this game. Like I said, a total team effort tonight from the guys. That's what they needed, as now they're, like I said, they're playing some good basketball as we're heading closer to the trade deadline and everything under the sun. Like I said, Trae Young played 42 minutes tonight. Clearly, in this type of a game, Quinn Snyder knew, Trae has to lead us. He had 32 points and 15 assists tonight. Just big for him. 7 threes, one away from his career high. 8 threes in a game, so he was big tonight. DeJounte Murray, 22 and 8 and 5. Now, I'll mention DeJounte here for a quick second, because DeJounte in this game started slow. He really did not do a lot through the first 3 quarters from a statistical standpoint. In the fourth quarter, he started to find a rhythm. He started to become aggressive. He started to attack the basket. Now, there was a point in the game where you could maybe see, if you watched it, you saw visible frustration maybe from him in his body language about maybe the way he was being used. Maybe this alludes to some of the things that we've heard with DeJounte in terms of his happiness with his role. But I think in the fourth quarters, I think what they've figured out with Trae and DeJounte is you can this is how you have them play off each other. Trae is more of a guy who can create plays for others, can hit shots, and then also can get hit shot. But DeJounte is an attacker. He's aggressive. He goes downhill. He puts pressure on the rim. And I think what that does is it allows them to take turns, but not ruin the flow of the offense. Because the thing is that Trae Young is still the number one guy teams are going to worry about at the end of the day. So they're going to leave DeJounte one-on-one against whoever they put on him. And DeJounte has shown a lot of these matchups. He can beat the matchup and get into where he wants to. DeJounte is really underrated at getting to his spot, and getting, for him, is a high percentage shot, which is in the mid-range or getting straight to the rim. And I think that was crucial in the fourth quarter to get himself going. Got big steal that got a bucket. Obviously, driving to the paint, got a bucket. A big 3 also in the fourth quarter that was big for the team. I think DeJounte really made some big plays late that helped the team really keep this lead and hang on to it. And it was evident in what you saw. So for me, I think DeJounte, we'll see what happens. I'll have more on him and the trade stuff later, but maybe even through some frustration, he has still also, it's weird with DeJounte. Like, he's frustrated, but he's also having career high in points. It's interesting. It's interesting a little bit. But and I mean, listen, he didn't even have a great shooting night. Realistically, he went 1 from 8 for 3, but that 3 in the fourth quarter was a big one, and he was able to get to the free throw line in the fourth quarter. Jalen Johnson tonight, played well. I mean, he was tasked with Kevin Durant a lot in this game, which with Hunter out and then with Bey going out, that was kind of going to be his primary assignment. He did a decent job. Obviously, we know Kevin Durant is a freakish player, one of the hardest guys to guard in the NBA, but he did an admirable job tonight, but also provided 16 points and 7 rebounds and 4 assists for the team. So, he did what he needed to do. Clint Capella. All right. Clint Capella. What was it? The second quarter? That boy was missing bunnies again. Lord. Missing dunks. Oh, man. I think he missed that in the third. Yeah. I mean, Clint Capella is the biggest plus-minus player. And I'm not even talking about the actual stat. I'm just talking about the way he plays. Like, his pluses are he going to get offensive rebounds. He's going to rebound well. He's going to do all that stuff well. But his negatives, man, missing bunnies, missing dunks, man. It's like, yo, can we not? Like, can we not, please? like it's one of those things where it's like, if you had just made them shots, man, the Hawks would have had a bigger lead. And you're missing bunnies. Like, I understand why people were just like, I'm so ready for Clint Capella to get off this team. Like, listen, we'll deal with the rebounding, lack of whatever size, losing him. I rather have like a Okongwu who has shown he can finish around the rim better than Clint, who can miss bunnies, and that costs you. Even though you're getting an extra possession, you're not actually making anything out of that extra possession. So, I'll that's what I'll say about that. And I mean, to also further that is he also the biggest plus minus actually in this game with -14. So that kind of tells you how effective he was. Like I said, Bey got hurt. Now he wasn't shooting the ball well before he got out the game, but like I said, I've said this before. I think Bey is better in a bench role. I don't think he's good in a starting role. I think he's better as a bench guy, especially with DeAndre's back, because it changes how he has to play, and I think that just works better for him. But we got big contributions tonight from Bogdanović and Onyeka Okongwu. A total combined 38 points between the two. Bogey with 23, 4 and 5, 4 threes, 8 of 12 from the field. And Onyeka Okongwu, who had the highest plus minus of any player tonight, 15 and 7, 1 3. I mean, listen, we have those occasional Onyeka Okongwu games where he starts feeding families. And tonight was one of those nights that he fed a family tonight. I mean, he was, especially in that first half, he was very effective. I think he had 8 points in that first half. And he was just really effective. He was able to punish the Suns inside. He was able to take advantage of the lack of defense they have in the paint. And was able to just kind of show people again why people are ready for Onyeka Okongwu to become the starting center for the Atlanta Hawks. He played really, really well tonight. This was a game you figured he would finish, like I said, because of the way the Suns play. He only played 3 minutes, I think, or close to 4 minutes in that third quarter. Came back in the fourth and played the majority of the quarter. There was that stretch where Capella was out there and he was getting scored on every possession by Kevin Durant. I think that was just to give Onyeka a blow. Quinn was trying to give him a blow before he finished the game. But Onyeka Okongwu, really big game for him tonight. He just has those games, man, where it's like he'll do that, and then you're just like, man, like is he not able to be this way because of coming off the bench? Is it that he's not aggressive? Because if this is the Onyeka Okongwu we're going to get on a nightly basis as a starter, I think everybody will be very pleased with what we're getting. And then obviously there's not much to say about Bogey, a 6 man of the year candidate. Gabe hit some big shots tonight. I think Bogey's played well, but I feel like this is one of those stronger games Bogey's had recently, especially with his shot. Because sometimes he'll hit threes and then he'll go cold. And then when the Hawks start falling apart, and this game he was able to stay consistent. played well through it, did what he had to do, and did, and did his thing, And then like Wesley Matthews, he gave us 6 points, 2 threes tonight. I mean, Wesley Matthews for a stretch could not hit anything, and he was giving you zeros. So the fact that he gave you 6 tonight, that 6 matters. That 6 points matters, especially when you lost, like I said, a guy like DeAndre Hunter and Bay in this game. But overall, I mean, Hawks shot 52% from the field, 39% from three. They only had 9 turnovers tonight. Were taking care of the ball tonight, won the rebounding battle as expected. Now, they got teed up a few times, but, it happens. But overall, solid win for the Hawks tonight to get a win over the Phoenix Suns, a team with the big 3 healthy, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, all played. So this was not one of those, you beat 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 3. You beat the fully powered, in terms of top of their lineup, Suns tonight. So that is a very big confidence booster, I think, for the roster as a whole, to show we can compete with some of the best teams in this league. And I think that they did a good job tonight of just doing, because what the big 3 is going to do. They're tough. They're going to score the majority of the points for the Suns. It's really about the other guys. If you don't let the other guys go off, you're going to have a great chance, I think, against a team like this, because they are so dependent on those guys. I mean, Grayson, Nurkic had 12 and 14, but outside of that, I mean, Beal only had 14 tonight. And he led them in minutes. So Bradley Beal, was playing more of a point guard role tonight for the Suns, but the Hawks did a pretty decent job on him. And so, like I said, very solid win. Hawks on a 3-game winning streak. Looking really, really good right now. And, listen, we'll see. They have a back-to-back tomorrow against Golden State. DeAndre Hunter is expected to play in that game, so we'll get him back for tomorrow. So we'll see if he's still on a minutes restriction. I don't know what that's going to look like with Bay out probably tomorrow. So we'll have to see what the starting lineup in the rotation is like tomorrow. But like I said, things are about to start heating up for the Atlanta Hawks as the trade deadline gets here. But it also seems like they are starting to hit their stride. I mentioned on Twitter, I feel like this team, the way they're playing, that they're learning how to play together better, if that makes sense. Like I don't know. I feel more connectivity amongst the team now in the last few games than I did, it's funny. They had the rock bottom game against the Wizards, and I think they reeled off like 3 straight. Then they had then they got destroyed by Luka. Now they're playing better basketball. It seems like when they hit a bottom, they respond, which is good. But I feel like even defensively, I feel like there's a better connectivity, better rotations, just a lot of better things going on. I think Quinn has made some adjustments with his coaching a little bit too to help with that. I don't think this is just strictly all on the players. I think Quinn's made some changes to help accommodate the team with injuries, with everything that's happened, because Hawks are top 5 and players miss when it comes to games due to suspension or injury. And so, this is good for them to be in this place where they are right now, playing a better brand of ball. I've always kind of said, for me, biggest person I probably won't move the trade deadline to me is Clint Capella, if I'm being honest with you, because I don't think the team will be drastically affected by it. I could be wrong, but trade Clint, make the starter, get a pick back for Clint. Obviously, you would hopefully get another center, maybe 2, just to have a third center on the roster. And then you kind of see what you got with this team. I mean, I think this team, to me, probably will be a play-in team. Probably. We just don't know if they're going to be in the 1 game to get in or the 2 game to get in, part of the play-in. But overall, yeah, Hawks with a solid win tonight over the Suns, man. Good, impressive quality win over a team that has championship aspirations, and being able to compete with them and be able to take the game late, which has been a big problem for the Atlanta Hawks all season. So really good to beat those and exercise those demons tonight and get that win, because that was something that I think was really important. Like I said, if you can beat Golden State in the back-to-back, that will be big, because now you're in a 4-game winning streak. You've beaten some pretty decent teams in that time, and you're starting to build momentum for yourself. So, we'll have to see. So now we got to talk about it, guys. Thursday, All-Star reserves were announced. And Trae Young was left off the reserves. A man who finished second in All-Star voting, fan voting, to be exact, for guards. A lot of people went to Twitter, including myself, and talked about that move. We talked about how, we talked about why, we talked about, everybody was talking about how does a man who is averaging 25 and 10 not make the All-Star game? A man whose numbers is right up there with every All-Star, better than half of the All-Stars, and not get in. How? Why? I've talked about a little bit on this podcast before about the media biased to Atlanta. People don't care about Atlanta Hawks basketball. Now, we can get into, they're not winning, things like that. Fine, sure, whatever. But think about it. Lakers can be bad or they can be great, and they're going to be covered like the same. Oklahoma City gets more coverage than the Atlanta Hawks. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are teams who do get more love than the Hawks do. And they're not that much better, or have not been that much better than the Hawks. The Hawks have had a couple of primetime games removed. I believe they play the Celtics next Wednesday, I believe. I could be wrong. But next Wednesday was supposed to be a primetime game, and the Hawks were removed. They've had a few of those games changed. And it just kind of goes into that narrative that the national media has against this team and against the franchise about no one cares about Atlanta Hawks basketball. And it hurts Trae because, I feel like the media is like, oh, he averages 27 and 10, okay. And it's just like, what do you mean, okay? Literally, if any other Luka, any other star had that stat line, we'd be like, he has to be an all-star. But Trae averages that and doesn't mean anything. And for all my people who talk about, the record, there have literally been guys who have made the All-Star game and their team was not in playoff contention. So that doesn't matter. Like, literally, Steph Curry's team is below 500 and 12th in the Western Conference, and he's in. Now, I understand Curry is considered a legendary player, so he may just get that natural respect from people, but to get in anyway. But at the end of the day, Trae Young should have gotten in. I'm telling you, people from the national, people who are considered cool national media people, and even Atlanta media was like, how did Trae not get in? Why did he not get in? I think one person that a lot of people have been talking about probably who could have not made it was Paolo, because they're eighth seed and their record's a little bit better, but Trae has a better stat line than him. So it's like, is it about wins or is it about stats? What is it about? People are now asking that question. What means more, stats or winning in the All-Star game? If it's stats, Trae Young should get in. If it's winning, then make that clear. You need to win to make the All-Star game. And there's also been this call now for the expansion of rosters. People feel like there are so many talented players in the game, that there's so many guys who deserve to be all-stars, that guys who may only get 1 or 2 all-star appearances when they probably should be 5, 6, 7-time all-star appearance guys. People are calling to extend the all-star rosters to 15 on each side, which I think is a great idea. I think the NBA should look into doing that. They should look into changing that. So I hope that's something that they're willing to look into. Trae Young did say after the game tonight that he would take an injury replacement if given. He said he's not going to be an a-hole about it. He's not going to trip. He's going to take it. So, I mean, if he gets in, Trae will make another All-Star game. If they give it to him, they might not. We have no idea yet till they do it because Julius Randle will probably not play in that game, and Joel Embiid is not going to play in that game. So we'll see if Trae does get the nod for injury replacement. But the fact that he's not even just in it already, I think a lot of people are just kind of like, how, and everybody has their opinion on it. I just gave mine. You can see other people's on social just thinking like, no, Trae Young should be in the All-Star game. He like literally, I think they're saying like his stat line, everybody who's ever had his stat line has made the All-Star game. Like I can't remember how they described it, but basically what he has been doing the last 2 years, he's the only player to never make the All-Star game, to not make the All-Star game with it. And to me, that's mind-blowing. So why specifically is he not? People are asking the question, is he now Isaiah Thomas of the current day and age? Isaiah Thomas was snubbed from a lot of things. Obviously, we know about the infamous Dream Team and how, like he said, he fit the criteria but was not selected. So is Trae Young now Isaiah Thomas in that way, where he's just not going to get the love from the media, like that, even though he clearly is deserving of those opportunities and privileges. So, just the fact that that's happened is I feel like disrespect from the NBA, and the NBA needs to be better. Media needs to be better. Who's voting? I can't speak to the players voting. I mean, the players I always feel like are sometimes some of the most authentic voters, I feel like, but also there can be some bias because it's like, oh, my boy, he's had a great year, I'm gonna vote for him. Like, all voting has bias. Some fan voting can be a popularity contest. Like, there's always bias. It happens. That's just who we are as humans. But bias to the point where a man who clearly is deserving doesn't get in, that's a joke to me, and that's unexcusable. So we'll see if Trae Young does eventually get that injury replacement invite to get into the All-Star game, which is in Indianapolis this year. So we'll have to see. And then just the last bit of trade news, wrap the show up. I mean, for the most part, nothing crazy new. Pretty much they're just saying Hawks are still pursuing deals for DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin, Clint Capella. Jake Fisher said the Hawks continue, and I quote, the Hawks continue to be described by rival executives as the most active and aggressive team in the marketplace, motivated to discuss the majority of its veteran players, highlighted by All-Star DeJounte Murray. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know right there, I feel like. They're going to be aggressive. Like I said, trade deadline is right around the corner. We've heard deals AJ potentially swap for Quentin Grimes. We've obviously heard DeJounte to the Lakers. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. Austin Reeves has gone crazy recently, so they may not be willing to move. Since they said they want Reeves back, I don't see them moving Reeves. Clint, like I said earlier, I feel like he's the one guy of all of the guys who should go. And then, DeAndre Hunter, it'll be interesting. There was a report that says Milwaukee's keeping an eye on DeAndre Hunter. I feel like DeAndre Hunter doesn't have great interest, but he has interest where teams are going to want to be like, we could use a wing. Do we make a move for Hunter? That's what I feel like Hunter is to a lot of teams. Is he a guy that we should make a move for? I saw another report that said the Cavaliers are interested in Bogdanović and them. I think Sadiq Bey too. So that also is another team that may become interesting during the last week before the trade deadline. Teams always ramp up their deals. They always ramp up the offers that they give. So I could definitely see talks intensifying for sure as soon as Monday hits. And we'll see if that happens. And then, like I said, the Hawks continue to win. Does that change things? Because again, through all these reports, it's not that the Hawks are determined to get rid of DeJounte Murray. I haven't really heard that a lot. They just said they are determined to have talks and to see what the best deal they can get is. It feels like a team who's aggressive, but won't pull the trigger if they don't get the deal they want, which I know people don't want to hear that because they want a move to be made, but you're in a position. Either you pull a John Collins and get nothing back for him, or you hope that a team ramps up their deal and gives you what you want, and then boom, now you're able to get a decent deal back. And we've heard rumors they don't want a player back; they just want picks back, salary done. We've heard they want a player back. We've heard so many different rumors about what they want back in return. We truly won't know what they want back in return until that deal actually hits my phone. Breaking news: Adrian Wojnarowski, DeJounte Murray trade, and then we'll know what the Hawks wanted back. But then we can also assess: is it what they wanted, or is it what they could get? So, they said that Bogey probably will stay. He's like prioritized by the team. I know people are saying, "Oh, trade him now. His value's high." I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I think the Hawks, like I said, plan to compete next year. So trading Bogey is not necessarily helping that. I feel like trading Bogey is, we're restarting the team type move. So, we'll have to keep an eye. And trust me, like I said, guys, I will stay on top of the trade deadline when that comes. I will be on top of any moves that happen. If I can't get a podcast out to you immediately, you will get one hopefully the day of, or if not that night. We'll do like a breaking pod for the Bleav Hawks, and we'll talk about the trade. We'll talk about what they got in return, and we'll assess if it's a good deal or not. But if the Hawks don't make any moves, we'll talk about that too. So expect a trade deadline special from me next week. And then if the Hawks decide to do anything or not do anything, like I said, we'll talk about it. So we'll have to keep an eye on what's happening. But like I said tonight, good win for the Hawks, 129-120 over the Phoenix Suns, as they are now in a 3-game winning streak, looking to go for 4 in a row against the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night. Hopefully the Hawks can bring in another win and really start racking some wins up at State Farm Arena, get that home record back to where we're used to seeing, which is usually a winning one, and go on from there. But that's all we have here on the Bleav in Hawks podcast. It's your boy Bryce Lewis. See you next time.